Hello everybody. Today we're going to look at how we take our After Effects project, Adobe After Effects project, and the compositions within it specifically, and convert those into not just QuickTime movies, but MP4s so that we can use them in our Zoom background. So you can see I'm using Zoom. Starting in Zoom, we're going to end in Zoom with a different background. So I will jump to show you where we're at with our After Effects project. And basically, I have it ready. I still want to tweak these guys a little bit, their motion, but I put this together in a previous video. And there is sound, but that won't play in Zoom, thankfully. We'd always be talking over it. Okay, so please just note, this is called COVID Karate 6, because that's how many versions I've done. COVID Karate 6, that is the name of my composition. There is a few other compositions in here, but the one I am going to use in my background is this one, the finished one. So I'm also going to save this whole file. So I'll say save as. I'm going to put this in my weekly demos and call it final. Of course, I already have a final, so this will have to be final. Never say never. Okay. All right, note that I have all the layers turned on and all my sounds turned on. So that's important because if I don't have the eyeball showing and the actual graphic showing, it won't render into my movie. So make sure you have it set up how you want it to render. Okay, and y'all remember that we could just say add to render queue. But unfortunately, when we do this, there is no MP4 setting in here. There used to be, but they've taken it out, and now it's included with their media encoder. So just keep that in mind. You can make a movie here, a QuickTime movie, and drop that into the Adobe Media Encoder to make a second copy with a different format. So we can take this composition, or we can take a QuickTime movie and convert it to an MP4 that Zoom can use. Okay. Let's go ahead and open my media encoder and take out the last thing I did just so it doesn't throw anyone off. So it's empty. The only window we're going to use is this one. And this will show us what's encoding. But what we'll do is go here. Here's my final. I'm going to drag it into this window. It'll ask me to pick out the composition that I want. And remember, I noted it was COVID Karate 6 was my final composition, the one you were looking at. So I'll say OK. From here, we just set our options. And even though in After Effects you click on the blue type, in here you click on the drop down. So pick H.264 as your format. All right, that's MP4. Here you have a little more flexibility. I pick YouTube 1080p. Whatever you pick should be 1080p. That is the size of the window in Zoom if you're doing full screen window. So there's YouTube 1080p, there's high quality 1080p, there's Vimeo 1080p. They're all basically the same. All right. And then, of course, we tell it where we want the file to end up. So I'm going to go to my desktop and call this Jeff's Zoom background, BG for background. I'm just going to spell it background. Okay, just Zoom background, .mp4, I'm going to keep that on there. If it doesn't, if you have a Windows machine that doesn't attach that, type on .mp4, but it should. And then click Save. It hasn't done anything yet. We still got to click this little play button. We're going to see it render, just like in After Effects. You can watch it go frame by frame. All right, so there we go. Again, it's going to end up on my desktop. And I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Zoom. And hopefully that'll be done. And not, I actually have it rendered already. So Zoom. Okay, here I'm in. All right, so how do we change that background? I'm going to put this on full screen even. And in our Zoom preferences, you will see a virtual background. Many of you probably tried this before. I have some of my photographs here. So if I want to, there's an eyeball in there somewhere. Yep, there it is, looking at me. But mostly that one's just for waves. You can use a JPEG or whatever, but we're using a movie. So preferences, virtual background, hit little plus, add a video. That little segue was more or less so I could let my Jeff's Zoom background is one we just did, right? Today at 9:17. Yep, that's today. So click open, and there it is. Shows up right there. And there it's not at all distracting. All right, that is all you need to do. It was under the Zoom preferences virtual background. So don't use this while you're interviewing for jobs, but it's fun with your friends.